New Burning Crusade Classic Deluxe Edition. Rewards images found. Mount in TBC and Shadowlands. Wow. Jesus, I would have never expected this. I would have never expected this to happen. Yeah, it's 30 days of game time. You get the mount, and that's like your character getting leveled up, and then you also get 30 days of game time and a boost. So that's what you get all together. The rewards were likely used for an in-game shop that will be present for Burning Crusade Classic and contain images for both the Deluxe Edition rewards previously data mined and for the controversial level boost. The data mined rewards for the Deluxe Edition were as follows. So you get, oh wow, you get the Warp Stalker mount. This is a brand new mount that they made just for Burning Crusade Classic. The Dark Portal toy, and also the Path of Illidan toy as well. Holy shit. Wow. Well, that lasted. You want to know how I really feel? You want to know how I really fucking feel? I don't care anymore. I got so much pushback. I got so much hate. There are so many fucking blind Blizzard Defender drones that are gonna be like, oh, that's fine, I like it. Oh, wow. Oh, this is such a nice mount. Oh my god, Blizzard, take my money. Oh, I can't wait to work an extra shift at my job to buy this. That's what they're gonna do. When we said we wanted some changes, this isn't what we meant. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Of all the changes to add into the game, of all the things, better than being a mount store though, right? This is a mount store. You are paying money and you get a mount. And also, I want to go ahead and emphasize here, look what it said. The image will likely be used for the in-game shop that will likely be present for Burning Crusade Classic. It's so disappointing. It's just... Honestly, Blizzard is going to... They don't care. And the players are... I remember whenever I spoke out about this, everybody started attacking me over it. They're like, oh, well, you fucking loser, like, whatever. Like, fuck you guys. Like, listen, like, if you want to... If you guys want to have this in your game, fine. Who cares? Like, that's honestly the way I feel. Like, I feel defeated. I do. I really do genuinely feel defeated. Because it's like... It's been a year. The Classic community has just been complete trash for the entire year. And this is what they get. That's what they fucking get. That's what I get too, unfortunately. It's what I get as well. So as you guys can see here, there's two different versions of the mount. Clearly, there's two different versions of the mount. There's the Burning Crusade version right there. And then there's the Shadowlands version, because you can... Did I say virgin? There's the Shadowlands version, and you can see the person who's wearing it is not wearing Burning Crusade armor. So it's very obvious that there are two different versions for different things. Are you against the boost too? I want to explain what I'm against. I'm against the boost. I'm against the mount. I'm against having other cosmetics in game that are obtainable with real money. Through real money. That is explicitly not what Classic was for. Classic WoW was made with the goal of being an authentic experience of the way the game used to be. It is a way to relive the game from back in the day. Store mounts and shit like this was not part of the game back then. I understand that they had the Netherwell. I understand that at the end of Burning Crusade, they added in TCG. I think that does muddy the waters, you're right. But I do think that every single person, if you were going to ask somebody, if you polled 1,000 Classic players, 995 of them would say store mounts were not part of the Burning Crusade experience. Should I poll? Like, what do you mean poll? Why does it matter? Like, seriously? Here's why it matters. I'll explain this right now because I'm going to go ahead and explain it. Here's why it makes a difference. The reason why it matters is because every single person in the entire game in Burning Crusade is either riding a Griffin or a Wyvern for like a flying mount. Now, I know this is not a flying mount, but you know what I'm saying, right? If you see one person on Ashes of Alar amidst a sea of griffins, that one mount is more special than if you see somebody on Ashes of Alar next to somebody riding a Proto-Drake, next to somebody else riding Invincible, next to another person riding Firehawk, next to another person riding Memoron's Head, next to somebody else riding something else. There are a unique small amount of few rewards in the game, and those rewards in the game are special because they are unique and there are few of them. By adding in more rewards in the game, you dilute the special feeling that players get for getting cool-looking mounts and special-looking things. This is now a new, visually different mount that's been added into the game artificially in order to make money. This does not make the game better. And this is another important factor I want to say. This mount does not make the game better. I think it makes it worse. And the only thing that you can argue against is that it's a neutral effect. Because I can say that, yeah, sure, maybe some people don't care. And if you don't care about it, great. But what kind of an argument is I don't care? Like, it's just like, oh yeah, wow, what a great argument. Oh, that's really going to make the game better. Not caring about the game is definitely a great argument. It's ridiculous. Why should I argue against a cosmetic? You should argue against a cosmetic because cosmetics matter. Cosmetics make a huge difference. Cosmetics are the reason why a lot of people play games. I mean, PoE works 100% off of cosmetics. Really? How much money do you pay a month to play PoE? How much money? You pay $15 a month to play PoE? This is the way that I feel about it, is that I have been against store mounts ever since 2012. I have always hated store mounts, and I've spoken out against it. I have gotten hate for that over and over and over, and there are enough people in the community that are willing to insulate Blizzard from criticism and protect them from making decisions that are cannibalistic towards the game. And at this point, I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of making these comments and then people calling me a loser or something like that because I care about the game. If people want to, you know, brag and pat each other on the back for giving this multi-billion-dollar company that fires their employees and pays them poverty wages more different mounts into the game so they can just give more bonuses to their CEOs and executives, be my fucking guest. It's so pathetic. The WoW community is so fucking pathetic. Gamers in general, as I said, every gaming boycott is one 3-minute cinematic from being over. And WoW community is one picture from a boycott being over. Because the fact is, here's the truth, is that the amount of us that really care about it, there's not enough of us. I've learned this over the years. This is the cold, honest, hard truth, is there's not enough of us that really care. Blizzard can make money selling these store mounts at the expense of the integrity of the game until the end of time. And these brain-dead morons that look like pugs with their eyes popping out of their head every single time that Blizzard announces a new way to get money out of you, who sit around and watch the Big Bang Theory and they collect those little fucking stupid, what are those things called that have the really big heads? Yeah, they collect those Funko dolls. They collect Funko Pop dolls, and they watch the Big Bang Theory, and they get excited about microtransactions in video games that they already paid for. There's enough of those people out there that they cancel us out. I don't buy those things. I don't care if they add them either, as long as it doesn't change the basic gameplay. Here's a question for you. What is the goal of the basic gameplay? Because in my opinion, the goal of the basic gameplay is to distinguish yourself from other players. So if the goal for the basic gameplay, for me personally, is to distinguish myself from other players, and then they add other things into the game that make it harder to distinguish myself from other players, it reduces the reason for me to do the base gameplay. The point's to have fun? Yeah, and I have fun by distinguishing myself from other players and doing better than they are, and having cooler shit than they have.
Instead,
that's how I have fun.
Reward for getting attuned to level 70 in TBC and make it a feat of strength on retail.
That would be cool.
Don't milk us for more cash.
Explain how a store mount devalues a rare mount like Ashes? Sure. So, visual distinguishment. So what I mean by that is that let's say every single mount in the game is a horse, and there's one mount in the game that's a tiger. That one mount in the game that's a tiger is visually different and automatically more unique because of the way that it looks. Just based off of the other things that are available in the game. It has a relative perceived value that is higher because of its uniqueness. Now, let's imagine they add in a second tiger into the game. The first tiger gets added, everybody's happy about it. It's the first tiger that ever gets added into the game. Let's say they add in another tiger. Is the second tiger going to be as exciting to you as the first one? I don't think so. I think many people would say the answer is no. And then let's go 10 years down the line where they have a giraffe, they have a moose, they have you know, an elephant that you can ride on, and then they finally decide to add in, there's a rideable anteater. Is the rideable anteater going to have the same level of excitement around it and prestige around it than the other mounts? Is it as special to you? Let me ask you another question. Is it as special to you to have seen somebody with a Mythic N'Zoth mount back at the end of BFA than it was to see somebody with Invincible at the end of Wrath of the Lich King? Which one was more special for you to see? It was Invincible. Yeah, it was obviously Invincible. I think many other people care about that. And the reason is not because of the challenge. Mythic N'Zoth was probably harder than Heroic Lich King at the end. The reason why it was more important is because there weren't a bunch of other undead horses that looked special and unique the way that Invincible did. And the Mythic N'Zoth mount is just one other special mount in a sea of other special mounts. If everybody's special, nobody is. That's why I think they matter. That's why it makes a difference. Okay, let me use another line of logic, okay? Let's look at the store mounts that were added during Warlords of Draenor, okay? Okay, this is pretty much half of them. So these are some of the mounts that were added in Warlords of Draenor into the actual game. Okay? And now let's look at some of the store mounts. Okay, mounts. So let's see here. These are some of the mounts that were added during Warlords of Draenor. They took out the coolest one. So this one right here. Do you think more people would pay money for the Enchanted Fey Dragon? Or do you think they would pay money for... Do you think that more people would pay for that mount or more people would pay for this mount? They would pay more money for the dragon. Why would they pay more money for the dragon? They'd pay more money for the dragon because it's more unique. Blizzard, there's a reason why almost all of the store mounts in the game hold unique models, and many of the other mounts in the game do not. Like this right here, Hogris is a completely unique model. Squeakers is a completely unique model. There is nothing like this that looks like this in the game, period. Some of these, look at this. This is the only bull mount that you have in the entire game. There are no other bull mounts in the entire game. Now, there are some, Silverian Dreamer. This is a unique mount as well. Which, by the way, Silverian Dreamer, this clearly is something that comes from Ardenweald. This is clearly it's clearly a mount that would come from somewhere in Ardenweald. But it's not from Ardenweald, it's from the store. It's the same thing as the Dreadwake. There are no other mounts that look like this, except ironically the one that you were able to get from BlizzCon. There are no other mounts that look like this. Look at this one right here. This is, yeah, somebody showed me it's my favorite one. Look at this. Is there any other mount that looks like this in the entire game? No, there's not. So let me ask you a question. How many people would buy the mount on the left versus how many people would buy the mount on the right? Think about that. Just for a second. Think about that. Let's see here. You're associating value with uniqueness, which isn't the case when you factor in how stigmatized store mounts are. Ashes is still more valuable than a pig mount to most people. Blizzard's own marketing strategy proves that what I'm saying is true. The fact that they hold off and they only release unique store mounts that are not the same as reskins from the game actively proves that they know that the mounts that they're adding on the store have a higher value to people because of their uniqueness. Well, here's what I'm saying, right? Is like, so during Dragon Soul patch, these 3 mounts were added into the game. These are all effectively the same mount. This mount was also added into the store at around the same time. Let me ask you a question. Why was it that the yellow mount, the Heart of the Aspects, was added into the store and not the Lifebinder's Handmaiden or the Blazing Drake or the Twilight Harbinger? Why did they choose to add this mount into the store? Why did they do that? Because it looks the best, because it's a different model, because it's unique. It's not a reskin. So what you're saying is because it's unique and it's not a reskin and it looks better, it has a higher value to players. Blizzard's own marketing strategy for these mounts actively proves my point. It's not really about the uniqueness of the mount, but rather the difficulty of obtaining the mount. People value difficult mounts to obtain. That's only in the context of us being super hardcore players and us being people that play the game all of the time. For an average fucking, you know, an average 9 to 5 Andy that just logs on every once in a while and doesn't know all of the nuance behind where each individual mount comes from, they're going to see that mount and they're going to see, wow, that one's really cool. And they're going to see this mount and they're going to say, wow, this one's not as cool because there's other ones like it. But there's nothing like this. These mounts are not targeted at you, an experienced player. Of course we know that store mounts aren't prestigious. Of course we know that. They're targeted for the 9 to 5 guys that go to their job and they play WoW 10 hours a week. The people that play WoW 10 hours a week, they don't understand the prestige in any of the mounts. They don't even know what the Scarab Board mount is. Those are the people that buy the mounts. I'm not big mad, but I am mad. I'm honestly, more than anything, here's the truth. I am a beaten man. I am a beaten man. They have added these into the game over and over and over, and players have eaten them up with so much enthusiasm that it's just tiring. It's just tiring. It's fucking sad, man. It's absolutely fucking sad. Then why are you complaining? Because I care. Because I care. That's why. I do care. I can say that I don't care, but I do.